Hey guys, welcome back to Programming Tutorials. Today we're going to look at Microsoft SQL Server, how to download it, get it installed and start writing some basic queries in order to be able to get some data from it. So first thing you want to do, open up your favourite browser. If it's not Google Chrome, it's probably the wrong one. Type into Google SQL Server download, if I could spell it correctly. Click on the first link that comes up. And then you're going to want to scroll down a little bit and go for SQL Server Express. You can use Developer Edition, but for now we're just going to stick with Express. Click on download, open it up and double click on it. Be sure you've installed things before. There is not a lot we need to do for here. We're just going to go through basic setup, click accept, click next all the way through, click install and wait for it to install. Once that's done, I will be back with you. Okay, we're back. If you got to the same screen as me, SQL Server is now installed on your PC, which is great. Problem is, we don't actually have any way to interact with SQL Server at the moment. So what we need to do is click on the button down here which says Install Ssms. Now, Ssms, which is a bit of a mouthful to say, stands for SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to take me to the download page. I'm going to click on the link there. Wait for that to download. What SQL Server Management Studio is it's a tool to be able to go and explore your databases, be able to see what databases exist and to be able to write queries, so select statements, updates, inserts, deletes, all that lovely good stuff. So we'll download and get that installed. I'll be back with you once that download's completed. Okay, download completed. Time to get it installed. It's going to be pretty much exactly the same thing. Open it up, follow the instructions. From memory, I don't believe there's any configuration to change, so it's just open it up, click next, click on install. Loading packages, hopefully this won't take too long, not as long as SQL Server. But I will be back once this is complete as well. Lots of pauses in this video. Okay, we're back again. My computer had to restart during the installation, so you might get the same thing, or you might be lucky and get away with it. Once the restart's complete, you should have Management Studio installed. So, how do we get to it? So remember earlier it was referred to as SSMS, that lovely mouthful. If you hit your Start menu and type in SSMS, you should sit there, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio 18. Click on that, wait for it to load. Might take a little while to load the first time, hopefully it doesn't because there's enough pauses already. Once it loads, you'll be prompted with a little bit of a login screen, which will give you available servers that you can connect to, and also username and password option. Okay, here we are. Here is our logon screen. So we're not going to worry about the details of this at the moment. I'll go for it very quickly, but I'm not going to go into any detail. So server name, that should be pre-populated. That is the name of your server, along with what's referred to as the instance of your SQL Server. So in this case it's SQL Express, and your login details here, and we're just going to leave that as Windows authentication. So if I hit on connect, with a little bit of luck, over on the left hand side you'll see our Object Explorer, and you can see we're now connected. And if I expand out databases, you can see some system databases. We'll go through those in a much later tutorial. For the moment, just know that they're there. And if you have any other databases, they will appear under this databases tree here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through and create a database myself. I'm going to write out a script for it. Probably going to cover that in another video, so it'll be a little bit out of sync. But the next time you'll see me, it will be in just a moment, and I'll have that database created for you. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, we're back. Database has now been created. What I've done is I've made a little bit of a video out of creating a database, setting up the tables and stuff. So if you want to look at how I did that, I'll upload it on the channel. Go and check that out. If you don't want to do that, I'm going to upload a script to my GitHub, which is over here. I'll make sure there's a link inside the description of the video. So all you need to do is go and copy and paste all of this, click on New Query Window, paste it into there and click on Execute, and that will create you a database over here. If it doesn't show up, you might need to press the refresh button over here, and then you'll see the database Programming Tutorials. If I expand Programming Tutorials and then expand Tables, there's some system information here, but there are 4 tables that I've created. The table we're going to focus on at the moment is called People. And what I've done to try and simplify my explanation of this is I've created a spreadsheet that represents the table that I've created. So we have a look at our data here. The only thing I changed, actually, let me quickly modify this. I think that was London, Manchester, London, London, and New York. Okay, now it should represent a table. So we've got that data from the spreadsheet into a SQL table. How do we go and look at it? Well, the first thing you're going to need to know is a few keywords inside SQL. So the first one is called select. Now select is telling SQL that you want to retrieve data from the database. The next question that SQL needs to know the answer to is what columns do you want to return from the database. So if I expand out the people table here and then expand out columns, you can see the columns that I've created. Let me just move this over. The columns I've created is ID, first name, last name, city, date of birth, and drink. If you want to return all of the columns, SQL has a key character which is star, which means bring everything back from that table. Then you need to tell SQL I want to select it from the table called people. So that's our first basic query, which is referred to as the select statement. I can press execute, or if you press F5 on your keyboard, it does the same command. And you can see here, providing I've copied them over correctly, which I think I have, the data that I have in the spreadsheet, although date of births aren't there, let me grab those quick. There we go. So the data that I have in the spreadsheet is now the same as the data that I have in my database. So we haven't achieved a great deal, but we've introduced the basics, we've downloaded SQL, we've created a database using the script that I provided from the GitHub, and we're able to select data. Yeah, I think the only other thing we're going to go into in this video is what I refer to as a where statement. Now a where statement is basically saying instead of giving me all of the data from the table, only give me some of it based upon a condition. So you could do a similar thing in Excel. So if I highlight all this data, and this isn't Excel, it's Google Docs, so I need to remember how to do it. Somewhere there will be an option to apply a filter. There we go, create filter. And what I'm going to do is on the city, I'm going to say I don't want Manchester, don't want New York, I just want London. So I've now got those 4 rows. We do the same thing in SQL by applying what's referred to as a where clause. So after my select star from, I'm going to say where, and I'm going to refer to my column, which is the city, and I'm going to say where it equals London. Now you notice I've put London inside SQL quotes. Whenever you're doing a string comparison within SQL, so string being anything that is alphanumeric characters, so first name, last name, city, or drink, you need to wrap them inside single quotes. So if I then go and execute this, we've then got our reduced number of rows, so we've only got 4, which is the same as we have inside our spreadsheet over here. I'm going to leave that there, just going to copy it, create a new row, and this time instead of doing a straight equals London, what I'm going to do is refer to as an in statement. Now an in statement is where you want to apply a filter based upon multiple values. So you write in, and then I'm going to do open brackets. I'm going to leave London there as it is, and I'm going to put a comma to separate my values, and I'm also going to bring back Manchester, and then I'm going to close my brackets. So if I press execute now, what it's going to do is it's going to execute the top select command and the second one. If I only want to select one of those, what I can do is highlight it with my cursor and press execute there, so that I only execute the bottom command. And you can see I've only got the rows relating to London and Manchester. I don't have the New York row there. There are 2 more where clause that we're going to go through in today's video, and then in the next video we'll probably go through some update statements, maybe some insert statements and deletes, and a little bit more complex, possibly some joins as well. But for now, I'm going to write this out again. So select star from people, and this time what I want to look at is people that were born after 1990. So if I look at all of my data, I'm going to highlight a top query and click on execute. So just the top row. What I can do is just highlight just the select statement part of it. you can see that if I bring back people that are born after 1990, I should expect these top two rows and this bottom row here. Now, what I want to do is say where the date of birth is greater than, and I'm going to put single quotes in again, and this time I'm going to say 1990 and 0101. Traditionally, when you do this within SQL, and it may depend on your regional settings, but this is year, month, day for me. If you're in America, it may be year, day, month, but I don't believe it is. I think it's standard. If you go year first with a 4 numeric year, and then 2 numbers, and then 2 numbers, it should always be year, month, day. If it's not, play around with the last two. I'm sure you're used to regional settings and you know how your locale works. So if I run this, let's see if it executes. Excellent, I've only got those 3 rows. That's exactly what I wanted. The last one we're going to do is referred to as a like statement. So let's write another select statement. So select star from people, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bring back these 2 rows. Now the way I'm going to do that is, let's say I want to find all of the people within my data set that are called Mark. Now these 2 people are both called Mark, but you can tell they've got different spellings. One is M-A-R-C and the other one is M-A-R-K. So the way I'm going to do that is what's referred to as a like statement. So I'm going to say where first name, I'm going to put like, single quote because it's a string column, and I'm going to put M-A-R, and instead of putting a last character, so instead of putting C or K, what I'm going to do is put a percentage mark. Now percentage mark means anything can follow these 3 characters. So the first name column must start with M-A-R, but anything after that is absolutely fine and it will bring back those results. So let's highlight those, execute that, and you can see I've got Mark and Mark. Now the interesting thing about SQL is there's many ways to be able to achieve this result. So I'm going to very quickly write an in statement here. And you'll come up with your own ways of writing. You can see there that I like to populate the brackets and the single quotes beforehand, because I know that I'm only going to be doing 2 results and I know they're both strings. But you'll get to know and feel how you like writing SQL. So I'm going to write Mark and I'm going to write Mark because I'm aware of the 2 spelling variations. If I execute these, you can see they both give me the same result set, but there's 2 different ways of achieving that. And you'll find that a lot around SQL. And once you get into bigger data sets, you'll find that there are more efficient and less efficient ways of doing things. At the moment we're dealing with a table that's only got 6 rows in it, so it's not overly important that we're efficient in our SQL query writing. We can touch upon that much later when we get into bigger data sets. So I think that's all we're going to do for where clauses. I'm going to do one more thing here, because every single query I've written has said select star from people. Now let's say I don't care about the ID or the date of birth. All I want to do is bring back the first name, the last name, and perhaps the drink, their preferred drink of choice. So if I get rid of star, I can write in first name, which is the first column I want to return. Then what I need to do is, with a comma to separate it, type in the last name, another comma to separate it, and type in the drink. And then I'm going to hit execute on that, and you can see I've still got all 6 rows because I've got no where statement on there, but the number of columns I've returned has been reduced. So it's just another little tip to get used to writing select statements. What I recommend you do is use some of the stuff that I've taught you, create the database that I've got with my GitHub script, and have a play around, write some of your own queries, come up with some of your own scenarios that you want to return values for, and see what results you get back, see how you go. Okay, I think that's everything we're going to cover in today's video. Hopefully it's been useful for you. I didn't go through extremely slowly in how to do things, and that's because I've made an assumption that if you're trying to learn SQL, you've already got quite a technical knowledge of computers, and hopefully you can follow along quite easily on this. If you want me to slow it down or go into any more depth in things, leave it in the comments. I will go through them and I'll be making more videos. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.